Yeah, so going back towards the MTM area, it really seems like that was like a shift in thinking of somebody outside the pharmacy walls recognizing, hey, here's where all the savings are. This is where the prevention lies. This is where the boots meet the ground, and we need to incentivize this. We need to, you know, use this tool better. And so, when you first see these other entities, like that's got to be really encouraging for the profession to be like, yes, we told you, like we've been trained on this. This is what we're passionate about. This is what we've been doing for years and not getting paid for. So it's been neat to see that grow into like the documentation that we have now, where we have new standards coming out for e-care plans, where it's really quantifying that scope of work. So like, how do you see that ability to quantify your efforts and document like what you've done and how it's had those positive effects? Like, where do you see that kind of pushing pharmacists to in the next, I don't know, 5 years or 2 years?
Yeah, so there's three predictions that I have for the next 10 years or so. One is that really pharmacists are going to come out on the forefront of preventative services. I see functional medicine, integrative medicine, this shift from, being 100% reliant on modern medicine for our preventative services to this holistic, that's been on the fringe, the acupuncture and the nutrition and some of the stuff that we've seen in Eastern medicine for a long time. So I'm actually working on my master's in Ayurvedic medicine right now because I see there's so much opportunity that we can remove some of the obstacles and help our bodies heal themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my first prediction, is really around pharmacists becoming the go-to source for preventative health. The second would be less reliance on dispensing for revenue. So with the, shifting to the clinical services, the e-care plans, these opportunities for billing in other ways, I think that our business model will become more diversified, which I see as a good thing. And then the third big shift that I see happening in the next 10 years is pharmacists being embedded in ambulatory care clinics. So working with doctors, just like, my mom's a nurse practitioner. So I remember this was probably almost 20 years ago now, and she was going through her master's program, and she cannot type on a computer at all. So I was in high school typing up her master's program notes and all of her essays because she would just write them on her, notebook paper, and then she would like make me type them up for her because I could type so much faster than her. And so 20 years ago, no one had heard of a nurse practitioner in a physician's office. No one had heard of a physician's assistant. The next 10 years, my hope is that, and I do think that it will happen, because I talk to physicians and clinics all the time who are asking me, where do I find these clinical pharmacists that can help us with our quality metrics? We had kind of touched on adherence and star ratings. When you start digging into the quality metrics that the physician's office has to meet, CMS passed new legislation in 2017 called MACRA. And that act was basically creating quality benchmarks for ambulatory care clinics. So there's 2 tracks that they could do in this quality payment program. And it's pretty much all based on patient outcomes and performance. So if their patients are outside of their A1C goal, these physicians are going to get dinged, come 2 years down the line when CMS starts looking at their data and they're saying, you've been seeing this patient for 4 years and their A1C is still outside of where we want it to be,
Right.
What gives? And I think having the pharmacist there to step in and ask some different questions of the patient and, be able to spend more time with them talking about, is it lack of adherence, or is it, is it diet? Is it exercise? Is it other medications interacting and playing a role with this? There's so many opportunities, I think, because pharmacists we're trained in a completely different way. I like to say that physicians are really trained to diagnose, and pharmacists are trained to manage these chronic conditions. And so some of my clients now are working with collaborative physicians in these collaborative business agreements, collaborative practice agreements, to be able to offer chronic care and remote physiologic monitoring services remotely for their local collaborative physicians. And it's been a win-win, because pharmacists, even though we don't have provider status, we have these opportunities to make an impact on patient outcome, which translates to hundreds of thousands of dollars for the clinic down the line when you look at quality benchmarks. So
it's like the Zig Ziglar quote where you can have everything you want in life if you help other people get what they want.
Exactly.
Thanks for listening to this clip from Beyond the Scripts, presented by the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please support our channel by liking, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime we post new content. To stay up to date with all of the latest independent pharmacy news and content, follow PioneerRx on your preferred social media platform.